there's times where you have to be that way. You have to be, like I said, polished, or there's times, and 99% of the times you're gonna be that like open with someone like just your friend, or you're like someone you're close to, your family.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna be that way in front of a lot of people on the internet.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess like one of the things I wanted to ask you, I mean, you grew up in church your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what are some experiences that you've gathered like being a church kid your whole life? Because I'm a church kid too.
Yeah.
But I obviously grew up in a different generation. So I want to get your outlook on being a church kid now.
I mean, growing up in church is like, it's really a privilege. It like allows for so much opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've done so many things that I would never been able to do like outside of church, kind of like with creating content. I feel like I never really would have been like brave enough to just like start content on my own.
Yeah.
Kind of the church gave me that push and gave me the opportunity to do that. And not only with that, but like with everything, kind of like being creative in like the kids ministry, I've helped out with that, or just in every single like aspect of the church. So it's really been awesome to grow up in church and stuff like that. So
yeah. You're nervous. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay to be nervous, but I get that. You know, I felt the same way growing up because and I like how you had like more of a positive answer. Because it's mostly seen as a negative.
Yeah.
I feel like now though, like a lot of your friends and peers from school, they're a lot more accepting of certain views.
Yeah.
As far as like Christianity and like, being a Christ follower. Like when I grew up, I felt like you were looked at very differently for being that way. And with you guys, I feel like it's totally different. Like it's much more inclusive. Like you don't feel as much as a castaway or
people are like really interested in like learning about new things. Like
yeah.
The culture is like different now. People want to like learn about your cultures, learn about your religions and stuff, and they're more accepting. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Growing up in church, like kind of collecting all of these things, like how to give a Bible study, and like it's just been pretty like easy to reach people, like especially at school and stuff.
Yeah, so I'm sure you get a question, like the number one question, like why do you wear dresses and skirts?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You dress so modestly, and but like what's funny to me now though is like the styles coming, like that's like the trend now.
Long skirts are trending right now.
A lot of my friends who don't go to church, when I see them on Instagram, they're wearing like long dresses. One of my friends, she even DM'd me like, "Where does your sister get her skirts and stuff from?" I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, because that's like the trend now. So, do you feel like, hey, I was kind of like on the wave?
No, yeah, for sure. I'm like, I've been here. I've been wearing long jean skirts before you guys.
Yeah, it's funny how like it's in style now.
Yeah.
So I know that's another big thing because back in the day. I'm dating myself, but even before I was a teenager and stuff, like church girls stuck out like a sore thumb because they wore dresses and skirts, and now it's such like part of the culture, like not even just your generation, but millennials too, like those long flowy dresses and stuff. So like, how does that make you feel as far as like fashion and stuff goes?
I mean, it's pretty cool that we can. I mean, it's like two sides of it. At the same time, we're like, well, I don't want to stand out really. Like sometimes like you want to blend in. And so in that case, it's like, oh, I'm just dressing trendy. I look cool or whatever. But I think on the other side, it kind of like Pentecostals, apostolics were made to stand out, so it's just kind of like you have to make an effort to make sure like, oh, I'm different and here's why. Like make sure that people can see like God through you and constantly being like have that relationship with him so people can see that. And I think people do definitely notice. People definitely notice when it's different.
Especially on social media because like obviously you have a following of not just church people. You have friends from all over, school, wherever, how you met them. And you're all like, I know you for sure, but like most of like Gen Z in our church, every Sunday they're sharing a photo, a reel or something that we posted. Yeah. So it's like a way to live your faith through your Instagram. Yeah. And like I really respect like your generation because after, and not just saying because they boost our numbers on IG, but also that too. But like seriously though, you guys, it's like a declaration. And it seems very like, dude, you're just hyping up a share. No, I'm not. Like you're really sharing, intimate moments of worship and praise and preachings that we've had. And like I want to know like how does that make you feel seeing that as a generation, like your friends, your community, how does it make you feel to share certain content like that? And not just because you create it, because obviously we've both shared each other's. You share something that whatever that I didn't even create from a different church page or whatever it may have you. I'm not just saying, oh, you're just sharing because we're friends or it's your video. Sharing things like that shows like, hey, I'm a believer. Like, what does that mean to you as a person?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I caught you off guard with this one. I told you not all the questions were going to be on there.
Okay, yeah. I think, like you said, it's like a declaration of your faith, for sure. On social media, we tend to, like, it's really filtered. Like, everything that we post on social media, it's because we want it to be there. We put our best foot forward. This is how we want the world to perceive us.
Yes.
That's what we do, right? And so really when we share our church's content, or when we share someone getting baptized or someone getting the Holy Ghost for the first time, it's something really powerful because you are saying, this is who I am and this is who I want to show to you.
Yeah.
So I think it's like really important, and I really am proud of like our youth who have like for sure like been sharing things. They're not embarrassed, you know.
Not ashamed.
It's not always easy to be like, I'm a Christian and here's me jumping in church, you know, to like friends who don't know what that's like, you know. So it's not always easy, but I think when you finally get past that and you post it, it's really powerful.
Yeah. And I like the fact that you talked about, you know, this is how I want to be perceived. Because when I first got Instagram, man, this is going to make me look old. I got Instagram in 2012. And back then, How old were you in 2012?
I don't know. How long ago was that? Like 8 years ago?
Yeah, 9 years.
9 years?
Yeah.
I was like 10 or 9.
Jeez, wow. And now you're 18.
Yeah.
My goodness. So when I downloaded Instagram in 2012, first off, there was no story feature. I didn't even think you could post videos back then. Yeah.
And wasn't it only like one size too? Only
I think you could only post squares, and so that's when everyone tried to get creative and like download the canvas things that you could make bigger pictures
with the
on.
white edges.
Gosh. But like, see, there was no aesthetic back then. There was no visco. There was no editing. Like, you just took a picture. It was raw. It was ugly 9 times out of 10. But like, I remember finding one of my old accounts from back then. And I was like, man, I didn't care what I posted, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes even like now, and I know your generation goes through it, like, oh, I can't post that. Like, it doesn't look good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Or like, this is only good for a private story. Like,
yeah. There wasn't even private stories back then. There wasn't even stories.
Yeah. Yeah, so that kind of goes on with like the filtered, like not only was, you know, Instagram, they had filters before, but now it's not only that, it's just like the aesthetic, like you said, like making sure everything looks perfect. Like, oh, look at me, I'm perfect, you know? And I feel like that's not really a good thing. That's one of the things I don't like about social media. I know you had that question.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Now you're sabotaging my questions.
But yeah, that's one thing I don't like about social media is like constantly having to like build this picture. And I've been guilty of this too. I like how things look nice on my feed.
I mean, you're not alone in that.
Yeah.
I battle that too, because like sometimes I'm just like, man, forget it. I'm going to post no filtered pics. I'm going to like, I go through that stage and I'm like, I'll post a few and I'm like, man, like
archive.
Yeah. Shout out to the archive feature, you know? But seriously, it's such a hard thing. And if I know someone like me is struggling with it, who, you know, I'm kind of new to it in a sense, because we are very new to that aesthetic type of thing going on. I know your generation, that's like everything you guys think about.
That's like literally a compliment. Someone will be like, "Oh, what's your Instagram?" And I'm like, "This. Oh, your feed is so nice.
I like your grid. I've heard that before."
Or like people have DM'd me like, "Your feed is so nice." I'm like, that's such a random compliment, but thanks. Yeah.
And like, and then but that just motivates you more to be like, okay, I got to keep this up. Because then if I don't, and then, you know, you feel a certain way. And that's just like, I'm not going to pick on Gen Z, but you're Generation Z. Like, and I feel like a lot of your friends and stuff do the same thing. It's very aesthetic driven type of content.
And another thing about that is like when you post something that doesn't necessarily like go with your aesthetic, you're thinking about it. And I think that's like so crazy how social media has such a hold on us. Like you're constantly thinking about it. You're like, oh, should I take that down? I shouldn't have posted that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should edit it first or something like that. Social media has like such a hold on us that we're like constantly thinking about it. So that's one of the other things that I don't
Even
like.
with the church's page, like sometimes I get in this, like, I want it to be uniform. I want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, like, does that really matter at the end of the day? Because if we put so much time into that, like, obviously we're reaching people. I mean, there's like, I'm very grateful for, but all the stories, people are like, yeah, we looked up Revival Center. We found you on Instagram. We love the church. We came. People got baptized off of that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like that makes and I know you can agree with me, every minute video editing, making content worth it.
For sure.
If literally just one person came off the streets, that's worth it. But it's more than one. So sometimes I'm like, man, do they really even care? Like we just need to get this out. And there's sometimes where, like I said, you have to be more mindful of, we need to have that look. We need to have that because it shows intent and it shows that we care about what we put out. We're just not posting anything random. And I know that's just a big thing that me and you've talked about before off camera hundreds, thousands of times. Like, what do we want our feed to look like?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's another thing I want to talk about as far as Instagram. And I know another big one for you is TikTok. Like, what makes you, like, when you're scrolling, like, what makes you stop on a feed? I'm not just saying for churches. I'm saying for, personal feeds, TikToks, whatever. Because, like, someone like you, I feel like you have a lot of insight because you're super trendy. You're Gen Z. You know what's like you make me feel old. So I know that means you know what's up. So, like, what catches your eye as far as content goes in any platform you use?
I always notice things that you can tell like took time, like something that are like super out of the box and really creative. Like if someone's posting a picture, but they like edited it in a way, or they like, I don't know, like put words over it or something like that. You could tell it took time. And even on TikTok too, when it switches angles and when they're like super creative and still being funny at the same time and like choosing like a cool song or even making a song for that video. I think that always like has me stop, and I always like it. I always look at the comments, that for sure is something that I always notice. And so that's also something I like to incorporate with like our own videos that we post, like on In Motion or on Revival Center. It's just posting something that people are like, wow, this is cool, this is different, and people took time to do this. Yeah. So
you actually, I know this, but you're the one posting like most of the content for In Motion, right?
Yeah, as of right now, I'm the only one, but we'll get more people on it soon.
What's the handle? You can promote it right now.
nmotion.sm.
Yes, she does a great job with posting the content. I really enjoy it.
Thank you.
So this is not even on a question. We're going to do this question, then we'll take a break. But what are some of the things that you've learned? Because before, you've had the RC password for a while.
Yeah.
And, I think I've been, I've let you post kind of whatever. And sometimes you ask me questions. I'm like, Alexis, just do it. Like, you don't have to ask me anymore. But I'm glad you do. That makes me happy that you still want my opinion. But how was it going just from, okay, I create content for RC, our main church. And, I kind of run it by Tim or, make sure it's good with him. How does that feel now when you're running an account? Just no one's check. I mean, obviously, Josh and Jeanette, your student pastors, they're checking in, making sure the content's clean. But it is, and it's good. But how does it feel like it's on you, versus, when it's usually with us, you're like, okay, I'm going to post this video and I'm out, How does it feel being like a social media like manager?
Oh my gosh, I never even thought of it that way.
Yeah, well, you are.
Yeah, you're right.
You're creating content, you're, posting schedules. Even if you don't think that you are, I know I've seen your feed more than enough times to know that's what you're doing. So how does that, like, how does that mean? What does that mean to you?
It's definitely a cool thing. I think it's like such a cool thing that I get to do that. At this age, like I'm still learning, but it's a really great opportunity that I have to do. It's pretty nerve-wracking sometimes. I'm like, oh, should I post this, or how much of a boundary can I push? Not like in like a bad way, but kind of like with. It's different posting for youth and then posting for like adults on the main church account.
Super different.
It's super different.
You have a little bit more liberty.
Yeah, I have a little bit more liberty. Also, it's kind of like, it's a challenge because you're like, I really need something that stands out because my generation has like the attention span of like a chair. Like even myself, like our attention span is so little, and like we have to like, okay, we're scrolling. What's next? This is boring. I'm gonna move on.
So you're keeping that in mind when you post.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought.
No, you're fine. You know what? I want to take a break. We're going to come back to that question,
okay.
though. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and finish up the interview.
All right. Sounds good.
It's just, we're just talking.
Yeah.
We're just having a good time. But when we're talking about, like, you managing the social media, I'm sorry. I guess you kind of got confused when I was asking all the questions, right? Because I kind of came at you. Yeah. So, like, how does, like, you are managing a social media account for your peers. So what does that involve, like, your day-to-day? You already talked about a little bit, but if you wanted to continue on that.
Yeah, I try to like keep up with like trends and stuff. Like right now, well, kind of like in the last couple of months, what's been really popular is like the newspaper letters.
Okay.
And I seen even TikTok made a filter out of it. That's how popular it was because people were just using GIFs on their stories or on their videos. They would just put the GIFs and like do that. And then TikTok made a filter out of it. And so I noticed it was really popular and it looks cool. So I recently incorporated that in our, if you go to the feed at In Motion SM.
There you go. Plug it.
You can look at it, and I like try to use some of those like lettering or just trendy editing because people like to see it and they like to repost it because it looks aesthetic.
Yeah. The newspaper thing you're talking about, that's the stuff you kind of how you edit some of the graphics, right, too?
Yeah.
That's cool. I saw you getting into that as well. You kind of have to, though. Like, you can't just be a video editor in charge of a page, because you have to learn a few.
You have to keep up. Yeah.
That's how I kind of started too, which is crazy to me though, because I started doing what you're doing at 8. You're doing it at 17, 18. I think I started here at the church when I was 24. So you're like getting such a head start, not just on me, but like every other person who wants a job in like creative media. Mm-hmm. And I think it's so cool because we talked about off camera for a second, but you could literally have a career, a job, a side job, whatever. Let's say you have a different career aspiration, goals, whatever, but a side job or a career, like I said, with a skill that you learned in church.
Yeah.
Like, how does that make you feel?
Like I said, like growing up in church, like it's given me so many opportunities. Like I would have never ever done any of this if I wasn't in church. Like I feel like I know that for a fact.
Wow.
I feel like this is definitely something that God has like planned for me, and like this is ministry. And I know sometimes people are like, or sometimes even I would catch myself being like, it's not ministry, it's just pictures, just videos. But I think it is a ministry. We're reaching people. This is outreach. I think it's like media outreach.
Yeah.
And it's been a really amazing opportunity, and I've been kind of already been able to carry it out to other fields. Like I've had some friends with small businesses that gave me their password, and they have me like edit for them and stuff like that and post for them. So it's been pretty cool. I'm like, wow, I learned this at church. Like, who would have thought? Yeah.
That's insane. And I love the fact that you take it so serious. Like, it's like a ministry to you. Yeah. Which is so awesome because, you know, you've kind of been there since day one, you know, posting, making content and everything. So that kind of gets us into the real question I want to ask you is, you know, how did you start creating content? So how, when, and just give me like a brief overview of all the things that you learned in the beginning and up till now.
Okay.
So I know it's a big question, but I want you to really just dive in on this one.
All right. So, I mean, I guess we could go like way back to when I first started making videos, like when I was like 10 years old on our Samsung tablet. It was like a huge tablet, and we had this like video app, and it only had like 2 songs on it, and we could like add random filters and stuff. And I used to be on the app all the time. But I mean, more recently, like when I started making videos for a church was in 2019, 3 years ago, in like January, I think it was.
Okay.
I was taking pictures for Brother Aguilera for the News Vine, so that's why I had my camera at church in the first place. Yeah. And I was just like, we had a special speaker. I can't remember who it was. I know we had a special speaker, and we were like all worshiping, and I was like, I have to record this. Let me just record this real quick. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'll just record it. Yeah. So I did. I recorded it, and then I was like taking some more videos of people praying, of people worshiping and stuff like that. And then I went home, and I did not have a laptop. I didn't have any software editing program. Oh my gosh. I would go home, I'd put my memory card in our desktop Mac that was so old and so slow, and I would upload it to the photos, and then I would airdrop it to my phone, and then I would
That's how you had to get it onto your phone?
Yeah, because I would edit on my phone. So I'd airdrop it to my phone, and then, or like connect a wire or whatever, airdrop it to my phone, and then I would put it in iMovie, and I would edit on iMovie. Wow. And so that video was like 3 minutes long. That video that I made, the first one, was like
IGTV. Shoot.
It had no reason to be 3 minutes long. Like I recently found it, and I went back, and I'm like, this is so long and boring, and it looks so ugly.
Found it?
Yeah.
Did it make you cringe?
Yeah, so much. I'm like, gosh, why did this ever happen?
It had no reason to be 3 minutes.
No, literally.
That's hilarious.
And so I sent it to Pastor Q. And he was like, wow, I really like this. This is really awesome. I don't think it got posted on social media yet. But he was like, keep doing this. I really would like to see where this goes. Yeah. So shout out to Pastor Q for always pushing me to do more and more. Because, you know, he's really helped me. So, yeah, that's kind of like where I started. And I kept going and stuff. Actually, another thing I wanted to say is I used to, like, screen record music from YouTube or from Spotify. And then I would like detach the audio and then put it there.
Put it in the...
Yeah. It was the editing process.
You didn't know.
No, I didn't know. The editing process was so annoying. And I would literally... I remember like always being like, no one can know that I edit on iMovie. No one can know. Because it's embarrassing. I mean, if you edit on iMovie, it's not embarrassing, okay? It's not. It's a great place to start. Like, that's where I start. Anyways.
It's embarrassing, but... No, I know what you mean.
No, like, I was just like...
It's embarrassing to you now. Yeah. Think about it now where... You know, you're Final Cut queen. You know, you know everything about Final Cut. You've taught me a few things, and I've been on Final Cut forever. So, but yeah, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. So, do I have something?
No, I'm just scratching my face.
Okay. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So I was like, no, can I edit on iMovie? No, none of those like weird transitions or like the words that like sparkle across the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like try so hard to make sure no one could figure it out. And I think I did kind of a good job because I remember you and Pastor Q were like, you edit on your phone? And I was like, yeah, I just made videos on my phone. I don't have a laptop or anything.
Yeah.
But later, of course, I was able to get that stuff. So really appreciate. Thank you to God and for my dad
Yeah.
who got that. For me.
So then you got a laptop.
Yeah.
And so what was next from there?
So, you were the one who taught me all of the Final Cut things.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like I taught you like this much, and then like in 2 weeks it was like you knew this much and I still knew this much.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I started editing on there, and like I think that's kind of like when I really grew a passion for it. Like I really like doing this. This is like fun for me, and it's really cool, and I love being creative. Like something that my mom always like has really like pushed in our family is like being creative. And we would always pray, Lord, make me creative like you, because God is so creative.
That is so cool. I had no clue.
Yeah, that's
You've never told me that before.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought I did.
That's so sweet. So like your mom like cultivated your creativity.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, obviously God, but she kind of pushed you.
Yeah.
Because your mom's super creative.
Yeah, she really is. She had her photography business. That's kind of where I first learned how to use a camera, helping her out when she would do her
she
photo
literally had you guys pray for it.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
We'd be like, Lord, make me more creative like you. And I think if any creatives should pray that. Because
that's
I think
such a good prayer. I've never even thought of that. That's blowing my mind right now.
It's such a good prayer. It really is.
Because he's the ultimate creator.
He's the ultimate creator. And we want to be more like him. Make us more creative like
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it's amazing. I really that's why I pray all the time. So that's when I really got a passion for making videos. And I think God like kind of put that passion in me, like this, like you're reaching people. It's really powerful.
Yeah. And I think that's why I feel like we're the same kind of. People like us, we do not like to be in front of cameras. We don't like to be where we're at right now. But like it's good that we're talking like this. But we found our place,
Yeah.
And when I was talking about before on the podcast is like I found my place so late in life, 23, 24 years old. But like seeing how you found it so early, like that just like makes me so happy, like for you as your friend and like as like your mentor. Like you found that passion so early on. So there's less slip ups and less mistakes. Of course, they're going to happen in your life, but you already know, like, this is what I want to do for the kingdom.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of kids your age who don't know, and even people my age, you 26, who still don't know what they want to do for the kingdom. And the fact that you found your passion so early, that just makes me literally like the happiest, because like I could see it in you in the way you talk, that you really care about creating content, not just, for the church, but I know another huge thing we talked about before, but your peers on In Motion, like you're literally like metaphorically like just bringing everyone together, like huddling them up. And I even know recently you guys have had a really great revival and everything. And obviously you're not the one preaching these sermons or doing any of that, but you are still just the biggest part of that in anything, because you're the one bringing them together.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful that like God has given me the opportunity to kind of portray what he has done in these services and be able to like capture it in a moment and put it on social media, and other people can see that.
Yeah.
People comment like, wow, this is so powerful. They weren't even at the service.
Yeah.
So I think it's like so awesome that, he has allowed me and given me the creativity to do that. Yeah.
And that's just super special. So then we kind of stopped talking about it, but you got your computer, everything. And so bring like us, I know it, but bring like the viewers, everyone listening up to now, like how did you got the laptop from your dad, shout out to your dad.
Yeah.
And then now, like what are you doing now as far as video content? I know you're probably the busiest you've ever been in your life, because you're finishing high school, and then you're worried about college, and then like even with the church, we're moving into 2 services. You have the In Motion page on your plate, and you help your mom with crew. Like you're a busy girl, and that's awesome. I love that for you. But like, so what is your life? What does your day-to-day content creating look like now?
I feel I edit like late at night.
Yeah,
I post
you're a night owl.
Yeah, I'm a night owl. I feel like I'm most creative in the nighttime.
I feel like that's for me too, but the older I'm getting, I have
it's not working out
Yeah,
anymore.
you're not. Let it be a lesson to you. Like you're laughing now, because I would laugh at people too. I could stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning, just hammer out edits, and
that's
then
what I do.
wake up at like 8 o'clock like nothing. Like I'd bounce back like Superman. But now, man, I gotta go to bed by like 12:30. So enjoy it while you can. But go ahead, what were you saying?
Yeah. I kind of have it like for In Motion at least. I have it like mapped out like how I want to post. And right now, well, next week starting, we're going to be posting a lot because we have Youth Week coming up.
Yes.
And so we recently announced that. And so I'm going to be like pushing that a lot. So
when is Youth Week?
Youth Week is June 14th through the 18th.
Okay, so this is going to come out before then. So do you want to give a little plug for that?
Yeah, come. It's going to be so cool. If you follow us on Instagram, I'm going to be posting everything that you need to know.
I'll reshare it.
Yeah.
On RC page.
Yeah, okay. We'll be posting everything you need to know. It's going to be really awesome. And
awesome.
On the last day, we're going to have a special speaker and like a huge service. So
sick. At the church?
Yeah, here at the church.
Okay, cool.
So I kind of like have all that mapped out, like how I want to do it. And sometimes I'm ahead. Sometimes I'm like I'll fall behind a little bit. But I try to like edit everything ahead of time. So and just like save it in my drafts. I think that's the easiest. Is like have it in the drafts and then post.
Yeah.
The drafts and then post. So yeah, and then
sticking to the schedule.
Yeah. And I try to be as fast as I can. I know for RC we do post like really quickly, but for In Motion it's a little bit harder.
'Cause you're solo.
Yeah. We're by ourselves. Also, well, recently our services have been so powerful. We don't get out of altar call until like 11 or 10:30. So I'm go home and I'm asleep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're praying, you're crying.
Yeah.
And that's like the best sleep ever after a good cry.
No, for real. Yeah.
So that's just what it looks like for you now.
Mm-hmm.
That's so awesome. I know you're really busy with the In Motion page too, which is why I feel like I try to take a little bit off your plate when it comes to the main church. But I still need you. I'm not saying I don't need you. I just want to be, I don't want to be the type of leader that pushes too much onto you, especially when you have your own kind of thing to lead on the side. Mm-hmm. But another thing, and we can end with this one, is you're 18, you're about to graduate high school. Like, it's such a pivotal moment in your life. Mm-hmm. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
And it's just crazy because like you're growing up, you're getting older. You're not like me yet, dinosaur. I'm just kidding. So like, what do you see? I said creatively in our pre-interview, but what do you see for your life in general as far as, career, as far as church and school? Like what do you want to do? Such a loaded question, I know.
Yeah.
But like, just if you can, give me a little answer for that.
I definitely want to stay making videos, taking pictures, editing. This is something that I really love to do, and I don't see a future where I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely wherever I end up, wherever God puts me in the future, I know where at that church I'm going to be taking pictures and taking videos and stuff. So that's why I really think, that's why I really like putting so much time into it. I'm learning everything now because I know these skills are going to like help me in the future, wherever I end up. As for after college, I mean, I'm going to be staying here for JC.
Okay. So you're going to JC?
After college for JC. Yeah. I'll be staying here, so I won't be going anywhere yet.
Yes.
And then,
I got you for 2 years for sure then.
Yeah. And then I'll transfer out. I don't know exactly where. I'm still praying about it, but hopefully Southern California. That's the hope. Yeah.
Churches are getting ready for 2 years when you're going to go to SoCal. Like, all right, she's going to be here now. No, I'm just kidding. But that's awesome. I'm super happy for you. And you were going to say something else, were you?
I forgot.
Okay. Well, you were talking about going to school down south or something creatively, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Revival Center has really like built me up to where I feel like I can take my skills anywhere.
Yeah.
Like we've learned so much here, like growing up in church, how to like talk to people, be friendly, just different things,
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited for that. And I actually do want to be a teacher. As of right now, it might change, but I do want to be a teacher.
I'm sure your dad loves that.
Yeah. And
Alexis' dad is a teacher, by the way.
I've been able to practice that here at church with our kids ministry,
Kids crew.
So
kids crew.
Yeah. Being involved in church is really good. I encourage anyone who's not involved in church to get involved because it can seriously help you everywhere else.
Yeah. That's so awesome. Well, thank you for, I know you, earlier you said, I said I'd be on your podcast as a joke. I'm like, but there's always a little truth in a joke.
Yeah.
So you walked in, you saw the lights and the cameras and you were like, I could feel you tense up. But I think over our conversation, I think we're just about 30 minutes, which is great. Yeah. Over our conversation, you loosened up. You dropped some really good nuggets of wisdom for being only 18 years old, which is awesome. So I just want to say I love you. I appreciate you. All that you do, not just because you're on my team, but just because you're you. And I know you do a lot around here, not just for the main church, but for emotions and Josh's. So thank you. Thanks for being on our podcast.